Today's Fool card is from the Steampunk Tarot by Barbara Moore, illustrated by Ali Fell. This is the deck that I use for client readings, so I've spent a lot of time looking at it and just dive so far into it. So this is a good time for me to do a big plug for Barbara Moore. She's really special as an influential worldwide teacher of tarot. And her method is to follow the Rider-Waite-Smith system and then lay a theme or a filter, would you like, on top of it. And then through that filter or the theme, such as the steampunk, she then shows how the tarot comes through. So it's really quite extraordinary, and every deck that she does this for is different, and every book that comes with that deck is worth delving into. In the Steampunk Tarot, we see the normal full layout here. Everything that we see there we recognise. Here's the Fool, a young person, usually male, not always these days, thankfully. But here he is, standing up on a high place, usually well dressed, often well dressed. So there's some effort gone into the background of his presentation here. He has either his baggage or his luggage, or in this case his tool with him, and he has a very excited, innocent look about him, full of excitement, full of adventure, ready to go. He has a companion with him, usually representing a spirit or just the divine energy behind him. So he's ready to embark on a new adventure. He's excited because he's up high or in some other precarious situation. There's some risk for him. But we recognise that so much, and here it is again. And this is where we dive into the steampunk deck. What's different about this card is, number one, he has two tools, not one stick on his back with a little bag there, but he has tools. He's coming in here already identified, his purpose is identified as a chimney sweep. So he's not here finding his purpose, he's already got it. Society already knows who he is. He's already got a job to do. So this is new. The next thing is that as a chimney sweep, he's remarkably clean. He's well dressed, he's well fed, he's probably well educated, he's got a good look about him. That just says he's not, I don't know, he's just bright and perky. Everything just looks great and healthy about him. And his dog, I mean, obviously it's a bit odd to have a dog up there on the roof of a Victorian building, but never mind, he might have carried him up the ladder carefully inside his shirt. But that in itself doesn't matter quite so much as just the environment behind him. The context of this card is the steampunk world, which is a fantasy world overlaid onto a reality that humans experienced. This is Victorian England, back in the Industrial Revolution days, when things were just getting started, when technology was taking off, when man and machine were becoming something that people could express their creativity and the energy through, that were going to carry them forward into the future. This is the context, and this is what is different. It's quite unusual, if you note, in Fool cards to have this much detail of the context and the background. So this is something else that's really worth exploring. So I did. So why in this deck do the differences from the normal Rider-Waite-Smith scenario matter? The first thing is that anyone who knows tarot knows that twos indicate a choice or a decision. Now that's interesting. That's a real clue that we can go right down a rabbit hole with this one. He has two tools. He has a scraper and he has a broom. Now that means that he may be a chimney sweep, but he doesn't go in the chimney. He's standing at the top and his broom and his scraper go down the chimney. He stays there. Now we're going to get to his choice and why that choice matters a little bit further on. We'll just keep going if you don't mind building this little scenario, the rabbit hole that I'm going down. In the background here we see all of the smokestacks. So we know in his full get up and his enthusiasm, we know that his career is laid out for him. He has a long and prosperous career ahead of him as chimney sweep because there's so much business around. The Industrial Revolution in Victorian times that the steampunk world is laid on was a time of a lot of smokestacks and coal burning fires and machinery and engines. So he had a lot of work coming up for him, so no wonder his prospects are looking bright and he's looking excited. He doesn't have what we have, and that's the benefit of hindsight. We have hindsight now in that we know that what started in the Industrial Revolution times is impacting us now. We're the first generation who are really having to consider climate change, pollution, environmental disasters. This is where it started. This is where big business started, capitalism started, progress started, industry started, mass production started. It was all here, right at this point. If we were able to stand next to the fall on the roof there and we were able to say, hey, did you know that all of this ended with some really dire consequences for future generations, do you think that that would change his mind about what he was going to do, about the job he was about to undertake, how excited and enthusiastic he was? Well, I don't actually think that's his problem. That's not his responsibility. There's no way that he could possibly know what was going to happen in the future. He was only able to function in the world, in the reality that he was in at that time. That's his perspective. That's all he can know. Having said that, he does have a choice. His scraper and his broom are designed to go down the chimney. They're very narrow, those chimney pots, just the right size for that to go down. What he's very likely to know, he'd have to be incredibly naive not to know, is that the chimney widens out, and up the chimney go the children. Now the children don't dress like that, they don't look like that, they don't eat like that, their prospects aren't like that. The chimney is a death trap for children. It's hot, there's ashes, there's embers, there's carcinogenic soot. And what he can do with that broom is push it down on top of some poor, hapless little child who's down inside that chimney. Now there's his choice. In this moment, he could just remember that. He could put his broom and his scraper down and think, what am I doing? Because the step and the decision that he makes now are going to unravel consequences on his fool's journey in his lifetime, and it's also going to impact directly on everyone else who's involved in his life. So all the little children in his team who are down those chimneys will be infected directly by any choice that he makes now. So, what's he going to do? Is he going to go ahead with his own career and his own prospects and just ignore risk to them? Or is he going to stop in this section, in this moment, and think, I can breathe fresh air, I can see the stars? These children they can't see the stars, they never see the stars. They can't have a dog with them. Their spirit is still inside their heart, but they can't let it out. And that takes us to the little dog, to the spirit that's shining there on the roof. It's waiting. What's it waiting for? Spirit never interferes with us and our choices and what we do in life. That never gets in the way. It just is there to support and guide us. And which decision he makes, that dog will be with him. It'll be there watching and guiding and supporting him. It won't leave him. Whether he chooses to push his brush down the chimney or he puts his broom down and gathers up the dog, walks off along the rooftops and goes and finds some land and starts growing some trees or something like that. That's the choice that he can make. So what sort of person is he going to become? What's his fool's journey going to become? It's up to each of us to choose who we want to be. And as with this card, just spending some time with it. One thought or two thoughts can change everything. That's empowerment. Thank you.